I gotta say, you guys, I kind of feel like I look like a garden gnome, but I'm really enjoying this look as of late. Hi everyone, it's King Kogi, aka Martina, aka King Kogi. Which one comes first? No one's sure. In 2021, I shared a video about how I was going to start creating a cookbook. Since then, I've been puttering away at it, and as I promised in that video, I didn't want to show you just like an end product. I wanted to show you the steps in between about how it takes me to actually get there. My reason still being, I think in this current day and age, we're kind of like flooded with tons of amazing artists and amazing creations, and it can make you feel really low confident, like you don't even want to start a project because you're like,
how can I do anything this good? How can I create anything like this?
And it can feel quite intimidating. But I can assure you, if you were to see the behind the scenes of people learning, fumbling, their rough drawings, their stressed out moments, their moments of being like, why, I'm a horrible artist, I think you'd feel a lot more confident. Enter Martina. Allow me to be the person that you watch fumble. However, this video is not about how I fumble and fail, it's about how I plan for a long-term project. I've got around 6 Martina methods that I'd like to share with you, and I'm not some kind of professional planner. I hope you can get something out of them and you can get started on doing something new. It's a fresh year. Everything ahead of us is fresh, depending on when you're watching this video. If you're watching it in like December 2022, it's almost a fresh year. Know your unhelpful environments. When you first get started tackling a new idea or a project, you really need to be in a good mindset. You need to know thyself. Some things can put you in a really shit mood and cause you to lose focus or even the goal that you want to do, and you just give up. Here's what I mean. Roll the footage, other me. So on some days, I can happily go onto Instagram in the morning and I can browse. I love to browse people cooking. I find it really inspiring. It gets me hyped. And then I want to cook something new. I want to go grocery shopping. The same thing for YouTube videos and cookbooks. If I watch other people cooking, I get really excited and I'm like, I want to cook something too. But if it's a day that I plan on drawing, Instagram is not the ideal environment for me. I'm actually pretty low confident about my drawing skills. When I see all the other amazing illustrators and drawers out there, I really just feel crap and I completely like lose my mojo, and it is not a helpful environment for me. Hence the whole know thyself. Now I can watch something like bullet journaling or people drawing live. I really enjoy, I think, seeing the process of beginning to end. It doesn't make me feel so, I don't know, like hopeless and stupid for some reason. But for me personally, I understand that Instagram can be a helpful environment depending on what I need it to be. And it can be a super unhelpful environment if I need to do something like get hyped up for drawing. Another helpful environment for me is being in a cafe. I love editing or drawing or doing other things like that that are creative in cafes, but I have to have headphones. If I don't have headphones, I can find it a lot more distracting, like I can't get into the focus. So being in a cafe can be helpful, but I need to make sure that I have my headphones with me in order to have the correct music on. Some music is really distracting for me. I can't focus. Other music is really, really good for me to get into the groove. Helpful. So I know thyself. A cafe with headphones and the correct music is great for me to get going. While my sister has said if she tries to read a book in a cafe, she finds herself really interested in people watching, which I also love to do, and she can't actually read her book. So that's an unhelpful environment for her to try to finish that goal. When we were in university, I would go to cafes to study with certain music on. It would help me focus. While going to like a quiet place like a library would make me feel super sleepy and bored. It's like I needed people around me to get me inspired to do things, but not so much that I can hear them and listen in. Knowing thyself and understanding yourself, what is a helpful and unhelpful environment, is super important. And now here is a word of warning. It is very easy to get influenced by other people's opinions as to what is helpful and unhelpful. I have had many discussions with people about things like the morning. There are some people who just get up early and they go for a jog and they clear their mind and they feel like,
I'm so focused.
And they can get tons of work done. And it's disgusting and I hate you. Just joking. While for me, I tend to be a kind of night owl. It can be very confusing to some people that I get energy in the evening. It's like I'm mopey and sluggish throughout the day, but then in the evening, I sometimes get a lot of energy. I'm ready to like write or be creative or film. That's just the way that I am. And I had to accept that about myself instead of trying to force myself to work at a particular time. Of course, I'm not talking about your job. I'm talking about a creative project that you want to take on. That's something that you're doing on your free time. So whether it be working on the weekends and you've got midweek free, or you've got to work during the midweek and you got the weekend free, you need to figure out what environment, what time of day is helpful for you. And if you're a filthy early morning riser, please don't judge my night owl routine. Thank you so much. Part of my method to getting my project finished is taking notes. Some people will purchase a notebook and they will kind of fill it out beginning to end. Not the case for me. I don't know what it is. I just know thyself. I will have a notebook. I will fill out maybe 3 pages, maybe 8 pages, maybe half of it. And then if I have a new idea for something, like I want to work on a cookbook, I can't put it in the same notebook. I don't know why, I don't understand it. I have to go get a new notebook. And that's why I usually buy things from the dollar shop, because I'm not gonna spend $60 on some beautiful leather cover book, which I'm never gonna fully fill out. And then sometimes I go back to the other notebook because I feel like, oh, that notebook is my notebook for writing recipes, but that notebook is my notebook for like taking notes on things. Currently I have like 5 notebooks on the go. I think ideas and creativity, it's kind of like a flowing river, right? It's like constantly moving, and every once in a while something will bubble up like a fish farting in the water. And if you don't capture that, it will wash away down the river, never for you to think of again. It's like a really good fortune cookie analogy, isn't it? But for real, I'm sure there are tons of ideas you've had, or goals, or like something you wanted to do, but if you don't like write it down somehow, it's gonna be gone. I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. You may not be. Know thyself. Perhaps you enjoy taking your thoughts and writing them digitally. Some people prefer the feeling of typing things out onto notes. I can do that in my like second stage, but in my initial stage, I need to kind of write and flow, maybe draw doodles in the borders. This is how I kind of remember or form what I'm doing. I think the creative stage is a very delicate stage. Maybe I'm just like a delicate, fragile, arty person, but it needs to be really like whatever's coming out, just take it, put it out. There's no danger, right? There's no danger in writing out creative ideas. You just do it. Don't smush them out by logic or confine them. I consider the pen and paper stage of planning something that you should be planning kind of like big and not narrowing it down. Creativity can be really killed super fast by being like,
oh, this won't work.
And then you kind of feel hopeless and you're like, well, then forget it. You can trim it down later. So if you have an idea, like you're like, I want to make a video game for a phone. Let's say you've never made a video game, you don't know how to code, you're not a graphic designer, whatever. Don't think about those steps yet. Your book or on your computer or on your phone, wherever it is that you're enjoying your flow, you write it out. I want to make a video game. And I want this video game to be about pigs, and like the pigs can fly, but like only when they have enough candy in their hearts does it help them. I just made that up. You write that down. Then either on the same day or on a totally different day, you look at it critically. That's the time period for you to go, okay, well, what do I need to do to achieve this? Not when you're coming up with the idea. So now you want to look at the stuff that you've thought out that you want to do. That's when you can start applying your kind of logical stage to it, and you're moving out of like the method stage and into like more planning. You might need to take a course to learn how to do it. You might need to read a book. You might need to hire somebody. So it is excellent timing that I get to say thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I am currently taking a bunch of courses on Skillshare for the goal of completing my cookbook. So last year I took a lettering course on Skillshare because my lettering skills suck, and they are definitely better after this course. So if you don't know already, Skillshare is an online learning community, and it has thousands of inspiring classes. So basically Skillshare combines video lessons, then there's class projects, hands-on feedback, and you have these little short lessons that can fit any schedule. The topics are like illustration, design, photography, video editing, freelancing, music production, and more. And the first 1,000 subscribers to click my link in the info box will get 1 free trial month of Skillshare. So the class I'm taking is called the Style Class. Work out your illustration style in a daily project. And It's extremely helpful because it's basically like having a lecture from an art professor. I didn't go to art school, so I'm really lacking kind of the foundations and understandings of how to organize my brain and thoughts to create something like a cookbook, because there's a lot of moving parts. So I'm really finding this extremely helpful. I hope you guys get a chance to take a course if you can. I mean, it's 1 month, so hopefully you'll be one of the 1,000 to click on this link. But yes, taking courses and changing your skill level is really important and part of the long project plan. You can't instantly get good at something. Interestingly, Tom Froese, he is a Canadian illustrator. I didn't know that. He's in Vancouver, BC, and what's really crazy about this is that when I was back in Canada, I went to Canadian Tire with my mom and we bought like Christmas crackers, and they were Canadian designs. Like, they were really cool. And on the outside of them, there was like these little Canadian people, like a Canadian Santa and like a hockey player and stuff. And I love them so much that I kept the cutout, this here. So it's literally Tom Froese's design. I had no idea. So it was so crazy because as I'm taking this course, I'm like, this is so familiar. And then I'm like, wait a second, on the back of his wall, he has designs, and I like rushed over. I took this off the Christmas cracker to bring it with me. I like this design so much. Organizing your likes and your dislikes. So I've talked a little bit about my methods, I've talked about my courses, and now I'm moving on to some of my favorite apps and tools that I'm using. I find Pinterest to be a very good tool to use for distinguishing things that you like and you dislike. Understanding what you really dislike and what you like will help quicken up, that's not a phrase, is it? Will help quicken up the process, make the process faster, will help make your thinking and design plan process faster than the sentence that I just said. So for example, I have a particular color palette that I use. The aquas, the blues, and the purples of the whole Kinkogi world help to limit me and also speed up my decision-making process. So I like Pinterest because you can kind of organize your likes and dislikes really easily. It's upgraded a lot since the last time I used it, which was like, I think in university, and I'm like, I'm done with Pinterest. But now you can make these little like pinned boards on your phone or on your computer. So for example, let's say I'm working on a cookbook. I need to think of different border designs. I need to think of different examples of a comic book page. I just wildly go through and go like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. And when I don't like something, that's equally as important. And this will come up later on when I look it over. Whether you're making a book or drawing or planning to make a new website or to start a blog or to design a shirt or to make a new beer label or to sew, whatever it is, you're gonna find it on Pinterest. Organizing grand scales with digital whiteboards. So Miro is a really helpful app that I use. It is a digital whiteboard. And the reason why that's fantastic is because you can put it on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer. It can come with you anywhere you go. And it's good for a collaboration. So if you've got friends that you're working with or colleagues that live in a different part of the world or in a different time zone, they can log on and use the same whiteboard as you, like they can add to it while you're sleeping. So I use it to organize a lot of things on my projects. When it comes to the likes and dislikes, this is a good time for this. So you kind of put all your stuff together, you take all the things that you like and you lay them down. And then you go, well, why do I like this? Well, I like this because the color is really smooth looking, or, oh, I really like because I like polka dots, or I really like this because it's quite crispy and clear. You have to think about why you like something. And equally, take a couple things that you don't like and explain why you don't like it. You know, like, I don't like this shade of orange, or this feels really crowded, or I don't like the way this is too realistic. Like, whatever it is, you have to kind of figure out why you don't like something. Then you can actually look at everything and it starts to narrow down the things that you want to do, the colors that you want to use, the patterns that you like, the way you like your animations to look. Whatever it is, it starts to narrow it down. It's like almost like the reverse, like looking at the negative stuff helps bring up the stuff that you want to do. They both work together. Physical whiteboard is great as well. You can have a whiteboard at your home or a magnetic board and you can, like, you know, pin things up. But because I do a lot of stuff in the digital world, like screenshotting things and looking at ideas and taking things off my phone, it's like a bit easier to organize it all there. So lots of people ask me what I use to do my designs, like whether it's, you know, Kinkogi stuff or my shirts, whatever it is I've been doing. I use an app called Procreate. It's a digital illustration app. Depending on where you live in the world, it costs about $10 to $15, which I think is a pretty good deal. It's not yearly, you just buy it and it's yours. Lately, you might have seen those little tiny GIFs or GIFs, depending on how you say it, if you're a monster. I'm gonna write a whole kids series about people that get up in the morning, happily, willingly, don't drink coffee or tea, and say GIFs, and it'll be like a really scary book for little kids. It's only for Apple products, so if you have Android, I'm sorry. I'm sure there are some other things out there which people will probably share in the comment section. Please do. It's pretty simple, and it also has a lot of like tricky and sneaky little things that are super helpful. Like if you're drawing an arch and you hold down the pen and you don't move it, it will smooth it out into a perfect shape. This is super helpful for me because I draw a lot on the trains or in a bus, which means when I'm drawing, it'll be like, and I hold it down, creates the arch for me perfectly. There are a ton of tutorials on Skillshare, lots of classes to teach you how to use Procreate. So if you've never used it before, I recommend using one of the Procreate classes on Skillshare. I've already checked out a bunch of them and they are mega helpful. The very last thing I'm going to talk about is accountability. So when I put out that video around 8 months ago talking about how I was going to make a digital cookbook, that was actually one of my steps that I do in long-term project planning. When I plan, I like to put things online or announce them or do something that will make me feel horrifically guilty. Haha, just joking, but not really. I was raised Catholic. I have to make sure that I'm accountable for what I said I was gonna do. And you guys have messaged me in the inbox and been like, oh, Martina, like, when are you gonna put your cookbook out? Or I hope you're gonna do your cookbook. And I'm like, I can't forget about my cookbook. I said that I would do it, I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. Now, okay, you may not have a YouTube channel, and that's okay. You just need to take your idea or the thing you wanna do and kind of make it a semi-reality. So accountability can be telling a friend about it. Okay, you say to your friend, oh, I have this idea that I really wanna do. You can tell a family member. You can make a new blog from scratch and kind of show the process of what you're doing. You can talk about it. You can be like, oh man, I'm sucking, or this is horrible, or I fell off the wagon, whatever it is. Join a community. Tell your online community about what you're gonna do. People will help cheer you on, encourage, maybe check in with you. You can even open up a brand new social media account just for that project. It doesn't matter if you have followers or not. The idea is that you're trying to like check in and put something out in there, whether it's the process or the growth. I've run across so many cool Instagram accounts where there's only like 10 pictures uploaded, but it's the person drawing on paper and then they're kind of getting digital, and you look at it and you're like, oh, awesome, like look at how they've grown already. And you can also have private accountability. You don't need to tell other people. You can have a little book once a week. You can check in with yourself of what you're doing. You can have a calendar and you can say, this Friday, my goal is to research beer labels, right? And you put it onto the calendar. And then the next week, my goal is to, go on Pinterest and organize a bunch of different beer labels that I like if you're planning on making, a beer label company or something. So you can have personal accountability, which helps you kind of stay in check with the project. I think blackboards and whiteboards and calendars are super awesome for this. There's something really satisfying about checking something off or like crossing it off your list. So I hope I've given you some insights into how I start to tackle something like a big project. For the methods, we've got know your unhelpful environments, know thyself, taking notes, which include writing down big ideas and letting them just grow before you look at them logically. Then for tools, we've got things like Skillshare, taking courses, which will help you become more confident and unlock much more creativity. And then we have apps. We've got like Pinterest, Miro, and Procreate, which can help you get organized and help you design things. Making something bigger often requires a lot of little steps, and it can definitely be overwhelming, so I really hope this helps out. If you'd like to watch someone flail as they make their tiny project bigger, head on over to King Kogi. That's my personal YouTube page. I'm going to be live streaming some of my sessions for my creative cookbook with hopes that you guys can tune in with some of your projects so we can keep each other accountable, right? If I'm gonna live stream, I will let you know on all my King Kogi platforms. So King Kogi on Instagram, on Twitter, and on my YouTube page, I'll send out messages. Come on, join me, and let's get started on a project for the year. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I will continue taking my courses, and I hope you guys get a chance to go to the info box and click that link because it's only for 1,000 people. See you guys in the King Kogi kingdom. We're gonna keep keeping it cool. And yes, I will continue to dress like a gnome, a fashionable hip hop gnome.